The darkness of the night was illuminated by the lights of the wedding house. Everyone's face wore a fake smile and happiness. Yet that night, instead of being the most beautiful beginning of a lifetime, it was on the edge of a breaking point that would completely change three people's lives. Maya took a deep breath as she looked at herself in the mirror. The wedding dress she wore was the realization of the dreams she had built for years. She had grown up an orphan, acquainted with poverty and loneliness from a young age. She had wanted a home. She had only wanted to love, to be loved, to belong to someone. But that night, she would learn how difficult a thing belonging truly was. Khan, on the other hand, was a young man who had grown up in his mother's shadow all his life. He thought he made his own decisions, but in reality, his every step depended on the words that would come from his mother's mouth. He had loved Maya and wanted to marry her, but love alone was not enough. Love unsupported by courage would collapse at its most vulnerable moment. The mother-in-law had been against this marriage from the very beginning. She had looked down on Maya for being an orphan, seeing her as worthless because she had no one to stand behind her. But her real anger was directed at Maya's unbending character. During the engagement period, Maya's refusal to quit her job and her desire to stand on her own 2 feet was seen as a threat to the mother-in-law's authority. On the wedding night, this rage that had been building inside her for years finally exploded. After everyone had left the house, that wicked woman began openly humiliating Maya. She said she could not see Maya fitting into this home, that she would turn the order of the house upside down. Maya chose to stay silent and tried to maintain her respect, but some people mistake silence for weakness. And so the decision was made. Maya was thrown out of the house with just a few belongings, without even having changed out of her wedding dress. Khan could have changed everything in that moment, but he said nothing and stayed silent. That silence would become the heaviest price of a lifetime. Maya was left on the street in the middle of the night. She began walking with her wedding dress on and her shattered dreams inside her. She had nowhere to go, but she tried to console herself by thinking that a person with no place to stay is also the one who possesses the greatest freedom. Toward morning, she sat in a small park. With trembling hands, she wiped away her tears. In that moment, she made a decision within herself. "I will be dependent on no one," she said. The first days were very difficult. She sold 2 gold bracelets left to her by her grandmother. She stayed in a cheap boarding house for a while. Then she started working at a cleaning company. She would wake up early in the morning, go to different homes and work for hours. While cleaning the homes and dirt of others, she was actually rebuilding her own life. But Maya always had a desire to improve herself. One day, an elderly woman in one of the homes she worked in noticed her meticulousness and discipline. She told Maya she would help her find a more stable job. And so Maya began working at a small textile workshop. It seemed as though her life was beginning to change there. At first, she was an ordinary worker, but she quickly learned the trade. She got to know fabrics, learned sewing and cutting. In the evenings, after everyone had gone, she would stay behind at the workshop to practice more. She was striving to learn her craft. Within a few years, she had mastered it. Then, showing a small act of courage, she bought a second-hand sewing machine with her savings and began doing her own work in a small room. First, she did simple alterations for neighbors. Then she took on small orders. Growing her business was not easy, but Maya did not give up. In time, she opened her own small workshop. She began employing women, taking in particularly those who were in difficult situations, because she knew better than anyone what helplessness felt like. Years later, Maya had transformed into a businesswoman who had built her own brand. People now looked at her with respect, but she never forgot her past. Khan's life, meanwhile, had gone in a completely different direction. Under the mother's influence, he soon married someone else. This time, the mother-in-law had chosen a bride of her own liking, someone who would not step out of line and do everything she said. But this choice did not turn out as she had hoped. The new bride appeared quiet on the outside, but was the devil incarnate. She gradually took control of the household, turned Khan against his mother, and created unrest in the home. The mother-in-law began to pay the price for what she had done to her former daughter-in-law years ago. She received no respect in her own home. Her authority was destroyed. The bride she had chosen turned her life upside down. Khan was caught between two fires. He found neither peace with his mother nor happiness in his marriage. And the most painful thing of all was that he was reminded every day of the mistake he had made in the past. Years later, the mother-in-law fell ill. She was left alone. She now heard how strong a woman Maya had become. People spoke of her with admiration. A great sense of regret grew within her. And one day, in her sick state, she knocked on Maya's door. When Maya opened the door, she saw a woman whom the years had weakened. The arrogance of the old days was gone, replaced by helplessness. The mother-in-law apologized in tears. She acknowledged what she had done in the past. She admitted she had been wrong. She confessed that she had not understood Maya and had not seen her worth. Maya listened in silence. The anger that had once burned inside her was no longer there. It had given way to serenity. She forgave, but she did not forget. Because forgiveness is not erasing the past. It is not allowing the past to control you. Maya helped her, but she did not go back. Because some roads go only one way. Khan also appeared before Maya one day. The regret of years was hidden in his eyes, but by now it was too late for everything. Maya looked at his face and without saying a word, turned her back and walked away. Some answers are hidden in silence. This is a story of how a woman was broken and reborn, how a man lost everything by staying silent, and how a mother ended up alone in her pursuit of control. And the lesson is this: those who wait until they lose someone to understand that person's worth almost always realize it too late. That night, Maya was not thrown out of her home. That night, she became the owner of her own life.